Welcome back. You're still watching Fut Afrique, the only show that allows you to travel and discover the African continent through its football. Kinako Ella, where we're going to talk about Banyana Vastal, the invincible Mamelodi Sundowns, as they find themselves well on their way of securing their second CAF Women's Champions League title. It's only a matter of time. That hurdle, Sporting Casablanca will be looking to cause major upsets. But a lot of upsets took place in this competition, Jess. A lot of surprises, but here we are, the last 2 out of the 8.
Whew. Big congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns. You and Dr. Brian Mofokeng were talking about the AFL. The performance in the boys was done on the right, has to be done on the left. Ooh. So amazing how Mamelodi Sundowns ladies are reciprocating what the men's team is doing. But an inclusion of a debutante heading to the final, super exciting. I just want to give flowers to Ampem, though, because I've been preaching about them. I spoke about them from the right beginning. And looking at the match between Casablanca and Ampem, I believe they walked away with the win.
Not by score. Penalties.
It went into penalties. And I think that game got very intense in the 90th minute. And I think going into the game, 6th minute, Comfort found the back of the net. Yeah. I think that put them in a perfect position to basically get the second goal. Unfortunately, Comfort again with an own goal, then set the team in on an equalizer. I think that's when the game started to get interesting because both these teams are really pushing to make sure that they go to the final. Yeah. Casablanca wants to make it for the Moroccan side to make it to the final. Ampem wants to make it, for the first time. And remembering what the president has said to them before they came into the competition. Chele. But I think the action really started getting intense right at the 90th minute, and we saw it led us to extra time all the way to penalties, which we saw Casablanca advancing. But I believe that Ampem, looking at their performance, the resilience, the passion that they had, they really carried so much weight and they should be super, super proud of themselves.
Well, Shirley, it's time for Morocco. It's time for South Africa when it comes to the African continent because that's where the Mecca of football lovers do reside. I mean, on the men's side, we saw a Moroccan team up against a South African team. And here we are again in the CAF Women's Champions League. We're seeing the same being mirrored. Just one thing that I want to know, though, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But you spoke to the Mamelodi Sundowns ladies who have played in this competition before. And one thing that Lelona said to you is that the fact that they had lost to AS FAR before, that in itself was motivation.
And when Lona said that, Rhoda then said, this time around, we are hoping to win against them fair and square. Yeah. There's so many talks about, match officiating and how everything was unfair in the last sector. So they're really pushing to make sure that this time they were fair and square, and they absolutely did. It was an intense match, though, between the two sides because both of them have been part of this tournament for 3 times. And no one wants to get eliminated in the semi-finals, at least advance to the final. So close. And both of them having won it before, they want to win it again. Yeah. But I think they gave each other a tough time. Every single player that was there was giving all their best. Looking at Mamelodi Sundowns, I think we had a very strong backline with Nhlapo there. And I just want to say Makurubecha is really feeling in those shoes because we can see the exclusion of Ubamba Nani, who's not there. However, she's doing an exceptional job. In the last game, Mamelodi Sundowns, we saw how the right side was so congested. But this time around, we saw the left side was so congested with Murifi being there. However, Fatima was giving them a run.
They had to make sure they eliminate her.
Notice how the game changed after Fatima came off.
Yeah.
Because now there was a little bit of room, now there was a little bit of a way for them to penetrate, the third area. And I think it gave Murifi also time, an opportunity because she's a pacey player.
Yeah.
And however, I think she just needs to find a way of how she's not caught all the time on an offside. Because I feel like she outruns everybody.
A bit too fast.
You know what I'm saying?
Time her runs.
Exactly. She must time her runs. And I think with that change, she could definitely do the most. And we can see a little bit of more goals. Because we're probably hoping for 3-0. And we haven't seen those kind of games. And Ukolosa as well did the best that she could do in the middle.
Very physical player.
Very physical player. And I think when the game starts getting intense, you want to introduce players like Abo Uradile, who can stabilize the game. They can control the pace. Because once everybody's just all over the place, it gets a little bit, intense for everybody. But I think Kolosa did a brilliant job in the middle. And I just think that the girls I don't know, again, still, there at the front, you know, that wall was so strong. And going into the final, we just need to find out what we can do in the final third.
When you have a player like Kolosa, and I hate to say this, don't take it in the wrong way, where yellow cards is something that is part of her identity, someone who's so physical like that. As a coach or as someone who consumes the game, is that the type of player that you want to start with, or you'd rather bring her in as a sub? Because you know she's bound to be hella physical there in the midfield.
You know, it's so funny how you speak about Kolosa and the yellow card.
Yeah, no,
when I saw it, I was like, not again.
Me,
you know. But I think, look, man, you start strong. It depends on what the style of play the team has. But I think you start strong, you utilize that kind of player because they do have advantages. When you have a physical player like that, they do have their own advantages. So I think you start with them, and then if you see that it gets a bit tricky, then you can, you know, sub them off so that they don't get another foul.
Alrighty. Before tomorrow, 24 hours. I know, Mara, just realistically. Give me a score, actually. Because I know you're going to be in favor of my Mamelodi Sundowns. But just give me a score as to how will it be? How easy will Sporting Casablanca make it for Mamelodi Sundowns? Or just how difficult will it be?
It's going to be difficult. That goalkeeper, she's won player of the match twice in this tournament. It's going to be very difficult with that goalkeeper, and they're going to be playing a very defensive game. However, we've won the match against them, 1-0. I'm just hoping that Mamelodi Sundowns walks away with the win, 2-1.
2-1. Okay, Jess says 2-1. And if anything, she had her money on Ampum, right? And Ampum really showed up and showed off. So if this is her time to bet, I think she has to do it now. But the big question is, who do you think will walk away victorious in the third edition of the CAF Women's Champions League?